not take care of them. It's an attitude which is totally against science itself. That is, if you have any question, don't hesitate. So Guilherme, you want to take over to sum up?
I will, just a minute. Trying to organize here the YouTube because I forgot already.
Okay, so let me continue then a little bit more. To sum up, while the phenomena of tangibility are frequent, those of apportation are very rare, since the conditions needed to produce them are quite difficult to ensure. Okay, so it's a summary that we need to know about apportations. Okay, consequently, no medium can say at such time, at such and such time and moment, I will obtain an apportation, because often the spirit itself finds that it has been prevented from doing it. So you cannot guarantee to obtain this type of phenomenon. It's simply the one who tells you this either is doing some tricks or some magic. Yes, Guilherme?
Exactly what I was thinking. If anyone promises you, come to this place this time of the day because we're going to have that phenomena, is already a fair warning that something is wrong, because the medium cannot control, or the humans cannot control this phenomena. Very good.
And even the spirits are not controlled. It depends on so many conditions that when they are not here, it's simply not possible to do it, prevented from doing it. Yeah. I should add that these phenomena become doubly difficult to produce in public, where there are almost always energetic refractory elements that paralyze the efforts of the spirits itself, and even more so the action of the medium. So you see, also this phenomenon of apportation will only happen in a closed group. Guilherme?
Yeah, and we have reports in more than one institution that used to have this kind of phenomena regularly in the past. That is not because you want to be part of it that you can be part of it. You need to be prepared. You need to prepare for almost a week before that meeting takes place. You need to be careful about your thoughts. It's not like anyone can join at all. And I remember that when I met people that used to participate in those meetings, because I never did myself, they said they were almost like, you have to eat this, you have to drink this. There are so many rules to allow them to be part of this meeting that some of the people never made it, despite that they were good people. So it is a serious matter. It's not like, oh, let's do a meeting like that, let's try to have it. It's not really like that, isn't it? Yeah. What do you think, Charles, when you see so many people that really need to see the phenomena to believe, and after the phenomena they still do not believe? So do you think those sessions where apportation, materialization, they are required?
It's how to say it. It's really a phenomenon which is strong and convincing, but God wanted his natural law to be in this way that it does not happen when you have not the best conditions gathered. That's it. So this is why he talked about the disbelievers and the academicians, because okay, I want to see it, otherwise I will not believe. Okay, so just continue not believing. One day you will believe even without seeing, as simple as that. So he just doesn't care. And I think this is what, maybe to a certain degree, of course, because we need also to be charitable even for the disbelievers and so on. But to be charitable with them is not force them to believe in something they don't want to believe in. And let them come quietly.
Let me picture a nice figure here. there is a moment in history where we had those materializations, those apportations, and the science people at that time, they could not prove nor be convinced. Let's assume now today, we still have the same doubts, the same questions, the same will to prove. If we do have meetings to that level today, do you believe science will see with a different pair of eyes, or is exactly the same?
Exactly the same, of course. And Kardec told it very well. You need first to have the person studying a little bit the phenomenon themselves so that they can not only see, but also understand what they see. And this is also a precondition. And this is why I think this book, like Science of Life After Death I just mentioned, are very important, because the guy who is really reading that book quietly and so on, he will then look, if he have a little bit open-minded, the phenomenon differently, and maybe doesn't need to see abortation, for instance, to be convinced. And there are much more simple phenomena than abortation, which are already convincing, and these phenomena are listed in that book. The first part is about the methodology, scientific, philosophy, and so on. And the second part is what are the evidences, like EMI, like mediumship, memory of past life and reincarnation, the phenomenon which happen when the people are close of dying and things like that. So it's a sum, it's what they say, this convergence of accumulation of evidences, which are convincing, because never ever you will get the absolute 100% convincing proof. This does not exist, only in mathematics or in theoretical stuff. But in human science or in spiritism or spiritualism, such absolute big convincing proof does not exist and will never exist. So we have to live with it.
Very true. That's very true. Hi, Liz. I see your hand. Go on.
Yeah, just on that note as well, just to say that, thank goodness, there is so many scientists from everywhere now kind of wanting to really study this many phenomena, you know, in many fronts, not only about mediumship, but reincarnation and lots of other areas, because it is becoming more and more difficult to just ignore that we are all spirits. There is something else going on beyond matter. There is something else. We can't accept that matter is all that is.
Well, Liz, I think there was always enough information to us to see the spiritual world, if you like. The problem is the mindset. I'm not sure if the mindset today has changed in light of what was 200 years ago. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because at that time, we had a lot of people that were willing to. But the great majority of people that were not willing to, they prevail. Like today, same scenario may be there. You know, I see through some researchers, even checking university to my son, that now they have spirituality lessons. They have a spirituality in the format that you have to study spirituality if you go into psychology, for example. So it is better. It is better. But we need a massive invasion of phenomena or products to really make people think that, well, now I cannot say no, you know, because humans are always human. Good. Let me go on a little bit.
Yes. Do you want to share your screen or?
Well, yeah, I can share my screen. Yeah.
It's up to you.
Let me see how. Yes, I can share here. I
Page
was in doubt.
135, so we are here on the other hand. Huh?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could be able to share, but yes, it is okay. So, let me see. Yeah, go on. Let's go on. So, to sum up, that was where I was stopped. So, you have stopped in. On the other hand.
On the other hand, yes.
Yeah. On the other hand, you are aware that such phenomena are often produced spontaneously in private meetings, usually without the medium's knowledge or premeditation. In my heart, when something comes spontaneously, I give normally more credit, right? Because if I start to create a scenario, I may induce the people on the meeting, I may induce the medium, even the spirits of what I want to hear, for example. So I prefer to remain on the spontaneity of the meetings. And that's very good, as he says here. Usually without the medium's knowledge and premeditation. Sometimes there are a lot of people that come to our meetings, I'm not medium. Yeah, you're not medium. I don't hear anything. Okay, I'm not a medium. But you don't need to hear, you don't need to see to be a medium. But sometimes you are. And a good thing, or good or bad thing, I'm not sure. But for example, one medium quite often is able to recognize the other medium. With a little bit of perception, a little bit of practice, you start to observe few characteristics on the other person that you start to identify that possibility. But rarely occur when he or she has been forewarned. Fair enough. This should lead you to conclude that there is a legitimate reason for being suspicious every time a medium boasts of being able to obtain them at will, or, in other words, to give orders to spirits as if they were their servants. Let me stop here a little bit, because this sentence in particular is very wide. In any phenomena, in any circumstances, we do not give order to the spirits. If we believe we do, there is something that needs to be reviewed, right? And that is very dangerous when we think we do, because we become part of a loophole where who does give order to whom? So we need to be careful. The spiritual world is not something we can control. That I'm trying to find a nice word to say. So control is a nice word. So we cannot control the spirit world, regardless that some people even preach that they can. We can do this, we can do that, we can do this here, now. No, it's not like that. So this is applicable to everything on the spiritual world, which is simply absurd. You already know the rule that the spirit's phenomena are not to be used to put on shows or to entertain of curious. We still have people that do, right? But they are unaware of the conditions, or at least they are unaware of what Kardec brought to us. So that's something that eventually they will get acquainted to. If a few spirits are involved in these sort of things, it can only involve very simple phenomena and not those which, like apportations and other similar ones, demand exceptional conditions. So few spirits that could be part of some phenomena, like raps and things like that, is one thing. Those spirits without the proper preparation to be involved in apportation, materialization, is an entirely different matter. Remember, spiritists, that if it is absurd to systematically reject all beyond the grave phenomena outright. Let me highlight that here, because there are lots of people in the Spiritist movement that said, reject everything if you feel like it's not okay. Look what is written here. Remember, Spiritists, that if it is an absurd to systematically reject all beyond the grave phenomena outright. I've seen over the years a lot of people lose great opportunities to help the spiritual world, to help the incarnated, because they felt like, I'm not sure. If I'm not sure, Kardec said, or Emmanuel said, reject 10 times if you have to. And that becomes an excuse as well, right? Things that I don't know, I reject straight away, so I'm remaining in my comfort zone. So we need to be conscious of our decisions, if we decide to do or if we decide not to do. Both ways, I understand, is our obligation first to analyze, to study. Quite often we don't possess all the information, so then we ask friends, we ask people who know better than we know. And then in the end, if everything really points to the direction that is something that we should not do, so be it. But what I see quite often is everyone jumping too quickly and say, nope, if I'm not 100% sure, I reject it straight away. That's what a spirit says. And here we have Kardec bringing to us that is an absurd to systematically reject everything that comes from the spiritual world. It is also imprudent to blindly accept everything. So this is also very, very important. Well, we become so blind, so involved in the spiritist thing that everything is a spirit. Everything was done by the spirits, everything is related by the spirits. No. The same process that we have to use to eliminate something, we also have to use to accept something. We have to study, we have to analyze, we have to speak to people that have more experience, practice than us. Quite often, we ask people that read more than we do. And we forget to ask people that are really hands-on, people that has practice. So the best way to evaluate if it is positive or not is studying, of course, checking what has been produced, like books, for example, like dissertations, for example, check what was written about it, but also try to get the information for people that are hands-on. Because Kardec was hands-on. Everything that he was putting into his work, he was experimenting first. But nowadays, a lot of people decide to be experts because they read a lot. So we need to have an equilibrium between what we can read and our practices. That will give us more strength to allow us to move ahead with more security. When a phenomenon of tangibility, apparition, or apportation occurs spontaneously and unexpectedly, accept it. But I will never tire of repeating, accept nothing blindly, right? Nothing blindly. Remember how many times I said, even on this study, don't believe me. Try to find the source of information. Study by yourselves. We have to have that in mind. We have to dig out the information. We have to study. We have to be acquainted to that level of knowledge to allow us to make a thorough decision. Every fact must be submitted to a meticulous, in-depth, and critical examination because, believe me, Spiritism, so rich in sublime and grand phenomena, has nothing to gain from the insignificant manifestations that skillful stage magicians can imitate. I'm thinking here, imagine if I give a medium's book to someone in Hollywood. Prepare a movie, prepare something to go on the theater about this book. Becomes science fiction, because he or she will be able to use so many electronics thing today. Will be beautiful, but we also create a massive harm to our doctrine. Because imagine, if the medium's book becomes a movie, it will lose all its credits, because Hollywood would do something beautiful, but then becomes a Hollywood movie. And I fear something like that. But that's me then, that's me. So I need to apologize. I had a last minute call that I could not avoid this morning. I'm very, very grateful for Charles. Thank you, Charles, to be here. Thank you a lot. And I would like to thank you all for your patience and to be here with us. I would like to make a quick prayer so we can finish our brief study in a good way.
Guilherme, I don't know if Eric rose his hand.
Hi, sorry, go on. Hello? Is he there?
The microphone is cut, and maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah. So,
Sorry.
okay. Father, I was so glad to be here. Glad to join this team. They are together every Saturday to understand better things that you brought to us by our brother Kardec. I would like to ask you, Father, for your blessings to everyone here represented in this room, to have a great Saturday, weekend, and a whole week full of blessings, love, and light. So be it. Thank you very much, everyone. And once again, see you next Saturday without any problem, I hope.
Bye-bye.
We are here.
Bye, all.
Bye.
All the
Thanks,
best.
Charles, for
Bye.
filling in.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.